Hey friends, welcome to Uplink Online. Today we're going to be talking about the topic of how to end well in youth ministry. You go, Scooter, are we really going to be talking about how to end well? I mean, I'm not going anywhere. Exactly. But one day you will. The truth is we're all going to be ending and leaving a ministry of some sort someday. And so I want to talk to you today about how to end well. And the first step of doing that is to prepare now. I will tell you that when I started in my position here, I had no intentions of leaving the position that I was in. And so I looked up one day and God told me to move, and I was like, oh, am I prepared? Well, luckily I had people pouring into my life and teaching me to prepare well 3.5 years when I started. And so I was building a team that I could hand the ministry to. So that would be one of the things that I want to talk when I think about preparing now. It is that I want you to start building a team around you in your ministry now that you can hand your ministry to if God were to call you somewhere else, if something were to, God forbid, happen to us, to you in your ministry or anything. But what is your true ministry is going to happen after you leave more than necessarily while you're there. Because we get to see the legacy that you leave. We get to see the ministry that you built. And so that's important for us to think about that. I want you to think about a transition plan. What does it look like? So when you leave a ministry, if you were to end well in preparing, what does that look like? Do you leave one person in charge? Do you have a team of adults that can pour into your ministry and have different aspects of your ministry? When you think about a transition plan, it's important. As we've talked about in some of our sessions on Uplink Online, if you hadn't seen it, go check out budgeting and calendaring. But it's important that you have a calendar, because that transition time will be important. They'll know what's coming. They'll know what is on the calendar and what's scheduled and what they need to plan for. But also in preparing now, you need to prepare and plan for the interim. Whoever who's going to take over the authority and the responsibility of the youth ministry, you need to be able to, if summer camp is coming, you need to be able to do all the planning and hand it to them. And so that they can take it and go, oh, I know what he was going to do. I know this. I've got all the forms. I've got all the paperwork. And so you need to have a plan in place for your interim so that they know what to do. But then also you're ultimately setting up not only in the interim, but for the next youth pastor. You see, the next youth pastor, you want to succeed. You don't want them to stay where you were, but you want them to take your ministry to the next place. See, it's easy for us to get caught up in our own world and in our own kingdom and to think about, well, if the ministry falls apart after I leave, well, then I was the man or I was the woman. But the truth is, you show how effective you were in ministry if they are drawing closer to the Lord and the ministry is growing spiritually and physically after you're gone. You want someone to come in and be set up for success because you built a foundation for them to build on. And so I encourage you to plan, to prepare now. The second thing that I want to point that I want to make in ending well in your ministry is to work until you're done. Work until you're done, till the last day. And I want you to pour out your life and give everything you've got to that ministry until your time is done there. Don't take your last 2 weeks of vacation. Serve the Lord in that church because you want to end well. You want people to know that you worked until you were done, that you served the church, that you served the body of Christ until God transitioned you. And then the last thing and final thing that I want to share with you that is probably one of the most important things that I can share with you is when you end a ministry, when you transition somewhere else, leave. Go to something else. Don't keep looking behind you wishing that you were still there. Don't come to your teenagers and still be connecting with them and letting them call you and text. There's someone else that they need to be relating to. You need to help them transition. If you're ending well, you're helping the students transition to the next pastor there, to the next youth pastor. Because they can never serve and minister to the teenagers effectively if they're still clinging to you. And so I want to encourage you, in order to end well, you must prepare now. If you're going to end well, you must work until you're done. If you're going to end well, you need to go and transition and move and leave, so that you're building a path and you're grooming this youth ministry for what God has in store for them. I hope that this is helpful. I'm not telling you to go look for a way to get out. What I am telling you is, when God transitions you, when God moves you, you need to be prepared to do it well.